Hello everyone, and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Luna's initial reaction was to ignore it. She was no one, just a girl attempting to make her mark in a world of glitter and power struggles. But the burden of the truth gnawed at her. Bill Spencer, the media titan whose mere presence could silence an audience, deserved to know. So, with quivering hands, she made a copy of the report and put it into her bag, her thoughts racing with what she was going to do next. The confrontation took place in the Forrester boardroom, of all places. The clean mahogany table shone in the light of the chandelier, providing a dramatic contrast to the impending chaos. The room was filled, with Eric Forrester at the helm, Ridge and Steffi debating a new collection, and Brooke and Hope discussing some family drama. Bill was also there, his broad shoulders filling out a fitted suit, his gaze alert as he scanned through his phone. Bridget and Katie sat across from him, their expressions poised, oblivious to the fury gathering. Luna hadn't planned on speaking. She'd intended to give Bill the report discreetly and let him handle it. However, when Katie began discussing family loyalty and how the DNA test had solidified Bill's legacy, something in Luna broke. The words flowed forth before she could stop them. "They lied," she exclaimed, her voice cutting through the room like a knife. Everyone looked at her. Steffi's brow furrowed, Ridge moved forward, and Bill's head shot upward. Luna's heart raced, but she held up the report, her palm trembling. Bridget and Katie falsified the DNA results. The test had been tampered with. "Bill, you are not the father." The hush that followed was oppressive. Bill's face darkened, and his jaw tightened as he rose from his chair. "What the hell are you talking about?" His tone was deep and threatening, like the rumble of a storm on the horizon. Luna swallowed, her throat dry. "I located the original data in the laboratory. The results were adjusted to reflect a match." Bridget signed off on it, but Katie pushed for it to be expedited through. Bridget's face turned pale. "Luna, that is ludicrous. I would never." "Don't," Luna interrupted, her voice firmer now. "I cross-checked the raw data. The markings do not align." Katie's gaze shifted to Bridget, then back to Luna. "You are out of line, Luna. You have no idea what you're talking about," Bill said, not looking at Katie or Bridget. His eyes was riveted on Luna, examining her face for any signs of duplicity. "Show me," he asked, his voice tight. Luna slid the report across the table. Bill scooped it up, his gaze scanning the figures, notes, and incriminating proof of manipulation. The room held its breath as he flipped over the pages, his expression darkening with each passing moment. "Is this true?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Luna nodded. "I apologize, Bill." Bill threw his fist down on the table, making everyone jump. "You too," he hissed, pointing at Bridget and Katie. "Did you think you could play me? Forge a test and tie me to a child I don't have?" Bridget's hands trembled as she attempted to explain. "Bill, it was not like that. Who were we trying to protect?" Bill roared, cutting her off. "Yourself? What is your precious Forrester name? Or was it Katie's idea? Huh? Another one of your attempts to keep me on a leash?" Katie's composure crumbled, and her eyes welled up with tears. "Bill, please. I assumed it was for the best. For you, for the family. Don't talk to me about family." Bill's words resonated against the walls. "You have lied to me. Both of you. You led me to believe I had a son, and for what? To control me? To manipulate me?" The room was like a powder keg, and Luna had lighted the fuse. She stood motionless, her fists clutched tightly in front of her, as the consequences unfolded. Brooke grasped for Katie's arm and whispered something Luna could not hear. Ridge attempted to negotiate, his voice quiet but forceful, but Bill was not having it. He ran toward the door, the report crumpled in his fist. "Bill, please wait," Katie called, her voice breaking. He did not turn back. The door slammed shut behind him, leaving a resounding silence. Luna's knees felt weak. She had done the right thing, right? However, the expressions on everyone's faces, shock, rage, and betrayal, made her reconsider everything. The reactions of Steffi, Hope, and Eric were overwhelming. She whispered an apology before slipping out of the room, her chest tight with shame and terror. Outside, the Los Angeles sun blazed down, unconcerned by the carnage she'd left behind. Luna leaned against the wall, attempting to calm her breathing. She revealed the truth, but at what cost? Bill's outrage was reasonable, but she hadn't imagined how it would affect everyone else. Bridget's profession, Katie's relationship with Bill, and the delicate trust within the Forrester family were all breaking, and Luna was at the center of it all. She hadn't heard Bill approach until his shadow fell over her. She looked up, startled, and saw him staring at her, his expression unreadable. "Why did you do it?" he inquired, his voice softer but no less urgent. Luna gulped hard. "Because you deserve the truth. I couldn't let them deceive you." Bill examined her for a long time, his gaze seeking hers. "You're either the bravest person I've ever met or the most reckless." "I don't know which one I am," Luna acknowledged, her voice barely above a whisper. He gave a bitter laugh and shook his head. "You've just turned my world upside down, kid. Do you know that?" "I'm sorry," she replied, her eyes watering. "I didn't mean for it to happen like this." Bill didn't answer straight away. His jaw tightened as he glanced out at the city skyline. "Don't be," he exclaimed eventually. "I'd rather know the truth than live a lie. But you'd better be prepared for what comes next. People like Bridget and Katie don't like being exposed." Luna nodded, her stomach tightening. She hadn't planned that far ahead. She'd only seen the deception, the injustice of it. Now, the repercussions were tumbling down on her. The days after were a swirl of anxiety and murmurs. Bridget, mortified, requested a leave of absence from the hospital, her reputation ruined. Katie avoided Luna like the plague, her previously confident countenance replaced by a haunted expression. Bill, true to his nature, did not ignore the betrayal. He severed relations with Katie, his rage a barrier she couldn't overcome. The Forrester family, which was already splintered even more as loyalty was challenged. Luna attempted to keep her head down and concentrate on her work at Forrester Creations, but the weight of what she had done followed her around. Colleagues murmured behind her back, some describing her as a hero, others as a nuisance. Hope, the eternal optimist, attempted to reassure her, but even she couldn't hide the strain in her voice. Steffi, on the other hand, made no attempt to conceal her scorn. "You think you did the right thing," she stated one day when cornering Luna in the design studio. "But you have no idea the damage you've caused." "I couldn't let them lie," Luna responded, her voice trembling but firm. Steffi's eyes narrowed. "This is not about the truth, Luna. It is about family. And you just tore ours apart." The words hurt, but Luna refused to give up. She'd made her decision, and she'd stick with it, even if it meant standing alone. But she wasn't completely alone. Despite his stern demeanor, Bill developed feelings for her. He'd show up unannounced at the office, asking for her opinions on projects and testing her intuition. "You've got guts," he informed her, a rare smile pulling on his lips. "Don't let them grind you down." It wasn't much, but it was enough to get her through. Luna had come to Los Angeles with only a dream and a stubborn streak. She never anticipated to be at the center of a scandal, exposing a deception that would rock the foundations of a powerful family. But as the days progressed into weeks, she began to see her acts in a different light. The truth had cost her friendships, trust, and possibly her job at Forrester, but it had also set her free. Bill's words reverberated in her mind. "I'd rather know the truth than live a lie." Luna clung to this, even as the murmurs followed her and the weight of her decisions pushed down on her. She'd done what she thought was right, and in a world founded on secrecy and power, it was no small feat as the sun fell over the city, coloring the sky in orange and pink. Luna stood on the Forrester Creations rooftop, gazing down at the huge empire below. She had no idea what the future held, whether she'd stay or be cast away, forgiven or accepted. But for the first time in her life, she felt as if she was standing on her own terms, unapologetic and fearless. The truth was not free, but Luna was willing to pay for it. Luna sat straight in the hospital room, Her fingers curled around the chair's edges. She had just received what was meant to be the last word on her paternity test results. Bridget's expression across the table appeared resolute but anxious. Katie hovered near the door, appearing calm, but her lips quivered slightly. Bill stood behind Katie, arms folded, his eyes filled with intense anticipation. Luna had been under suspicion for some weeks. Whispers and speculations spread that she had manipulated the situation and was lying about the exam. Bill and Katie had desired clarity and closure. So Bridget, a trusted doctor and family member, was tasked with administering and interpreting the test. The room was silent save for the static buzz of overhead lights and the distant beep of medical equipment. Bridget cleared her throat. "Luna," she said softly, skimming through the sheets. "Here are the results of your DNA test. I double-checked everything." She paused, inhaled, and looked Luna in the eyes. "The results do not support your claim." Katie gasped, and Bill's face stiffened. Luna's throat became dry. "What do you mean by do not support?" Luna's voice came out strained and quivering. "Are you saying Will is not the father?" Bridget nodded, her face pained. "The markers and sequences don't align as you claimed. I'm afraid the test results show a mismatch." Katie raced forward, tears in her eyes. "Luna, Bill, and I believed in you. We believed you. That's why we insisted on the test." Bill stood firm like a pillar. He took a moment to look aside before returning his gaze to Luna, his jaw tensed. He wanted to express his feelings of fury, betrayal, and vindication, but he couldn't find the words. Luna's eyes became wet. She shook her head slowly. "No, this isn't correct. I did not lie. I would not. You've got something wrong." Her voice cracked. "You have to recount." Bridget swallowed, shifting uncomfortably. "I've already run 2 tests, and the results have been confirmed by independent labs. Everything matches. I apologize." Katie's hands tightened at her sides. "But Luna, are you saying we were tricked?" She sounded more fragile than she had previously indicated. Bill eventually spoke, his voice low and gruff. "If that's true, Luna," he said, leaving the sentence unfinished. He didn't want to believe she was deceiving them. Nonetheless, his heart pounded with fear. Luna rose abruptly and stood up. Her chair scraped backward. She massaged her eyes and fought back tears. She thought she had the truth on her side, but now the walls were closing in. "I want to see the raw data," she demanded. "The lab logs, the samples, everything. I want to." Bridget offered a reassuring hand. "That is protocol. But for now, these are the official results." Luna's lips twitched. She took a step toward Katie. "Katie, did you know about this?" she asked gently. "Did you ever tell Bridget to change anything?" Katie froze. For a moment, the silence extended. Then she opened and closed her mouth before opening it again. Luna's voice tightened. "No, I never. You are lying." "You did." Bill tensed alongside Katie. "What's she talking about?" he demanded. Luna's eyes blazed. She sucked a breath and exhaled. "Katie Logan and Bridget Forrester faked the test results to cheat me out of the truth." Katie's pores were dripping. Bridget's fingers tightened around the pages. Bill clenched his hands. "Don't you dare," Bridget whispered quietly. "You have no proof of that." Luna's expression twisted. "Oh, but I do." She moved forward, pointing at the printouts. "They've been altered. The timestamps are inaccurate. The chain of custody log is incomplete. There are gaps. There are minor, but critical edits. The signature is smeared. The serial numbers do not match the original sample receipts," Bridget said, her eyes widening. Katie gave a gasp. Bill appeared to have been struck. "How? Why?" Katie gulped. Luna drew a calm breath. "I employed an independent forensic geneticist. They tracked the sample transfers. They discovered purposeful inaccuracies. They discovered manipulation in your lab report, Bridget. Not Fisk Labs or any third party. There was a deep silence that felt like a tomb. Bridget's face twisted with shame. Katie's eyes widened in surprise, and Bill's face flushed with wrath. Bill's voice erupted. "How could you accuse my wife and Bridget? This is ludicrous. Luna grabbed her shoulders. I wouldn't do this unless I had proof. If you care about the truth, you will look into it. You'll see I'm not lying. Katie burst into tears. Bridget, tell her it is wrong. Tell her you never changed anything. Bridget gazed down, her voice soft. No, I didn't. I would never. She blinked, but her expression revealed uncertainty. Bill stepped forward, enraged. Bridget, explain yourself.
Now.
Bridget licked her lips and swallowed. I felt pressured. Katie asked me to look closely. She requested me to ensure that nothing in the report might be misunderstood. She stated that she only wanted clarity. I never altered the marks. I simply accentuated particular readings. Her voice faded. Katie flinched and backed up slightly. Luna's eyes flashed. You emphasize? Have you strengthened the lines? Bridget drooped. That's tampering if you do it intentionally. I thought I was helping. I thought I was just making things clearer. I didn't realize. Bill slapped his hand to the table. You've lied. You betrayed Luna and me. And you, Katie, were involved. You both betrayed me. Katie shuddered, her eyes welling up. All I wanted was to protect my daughter and Will. I thought Luna was dangerous, she trailed off. Luna's tone softened bitterly. You believed I was dangerous. Because you wouldn't believe me. But I did not deserve this. I did not earn your mistrust. And now, she glanced from Katie to Bridget. Now I want every truth laid bare. Bill paced, fists clenched, his face distorted in rage and dismay. He turned to face Katie. How long did you know about this? You told her what to do. Katie sniffed and shook her head. I didn't tell her to lie. I only urged her to be thorough, to make sure nothing was ambiguous. Bill, no, he said sharply. You never mentioned ambiguous. You strove for an outcome that was consistent with our views. Katie closed her eyes. I wanted to protect Will. Protect our lives, Luna said, her voice shaking with anguish and wrath. You tried to invalidate me so you could continue believing your story. But the truth doesn't care about tales. Bridget lowered her gaze. She looked at the floor, then at Katie and finally at Bill. She breathed hard. I apologize. I abused my position. I let fear and loyalty trump my responsibilities as a doctor. Bill's look became colder.
Doctor?
You're meant to protect science and truth, not pervert them for personal gain. Luna's tone softened somewhat. Healing is a sacred trust. You broke that trust. Bill's shoulders slumped. He touched his cheek. Katie dropped onto a chair and sobbed. I don't know what to say. Bridget leaned against the wall and shook. Luna appeared exhausted, yet her strength remained intact. For a time, nothing moved. Then Bill closed his eyes, his voice raspy. I want a complete investigation. Independent laboratories. The original samples. Every chain of custody record. Everything. I want them reviewed. Luna gave a subtle nod. And if anyone is guilty, they will pay. She gulped and looked at Bill.
Yes.
And I want public recognition. I want the world to witness what you did to silence me. Katie raised her head, red-eyed. Luna, this wasn't supposed to be like this. Luna's expression softened for a minute before hardening again. Maybe it's not how you saw it, but I'll see it through. Bridget moved closer. Luna, I'll help with the investigation. I will turn over every sample, lab copy, and internal email. I will totally cooperate. Luna's eyes flashed. She nodded slowly.
Do it.
Bill inhaled and clenched his jaw. He turned away and toward the door. Get started.
Now.
He exited the room, slamming the door behind him. Katie sunk lower and leaned back. Bridget slumped. Luna remained straight, hands at her sides, chest heaving. She said, almost to herself, let the truth be heard. The repercussions echoed throughout the family and beyond. The news spread quickly. Bridget and Katie had been exposed. The media whispered about a scandal. The laboratory that conducted the DNA test was investigated. Every sample tube, chain of custody log, every email between Katie and Bridget became evidence. Bill's rage grew as he addressed both of them. In private, He desired complete transparency. He questioned laboratory technicians and forensic analysts. He threatened legal action. He insisted that all parties disclose their roles. Bridget, in tears, admitted to changing the emphasis and presentation of the data at Katie's request, though she denied outright substituting markers. Katie, startled, admitted that she had pressed Bridget to make sure it looked clear, but denied malicious intent. Luna, although being emotionally battered, stood firm. She refused to be gassed or silenced. She advocated for all data to be made public. She requested her name be cleared. She had threatened to sue for defamation if necessary. The community reacted with shock. Some people sympathized with Luna, viewing her as a victim of great persuasion. Others paused, unsure whom to believe. Media outlets speculated on whether Bill, Katie, or Bridget would face legal and professional repercussions. At the next family meeting, the tension was evident. Bill and Katie sat apart. Bridget avoided eye contact, and Luna sat, collected but distant. Conversations fumbled with awkwardness, and accusations threatened each quiet. In a rare moment of confrontation, Luna addressed them. Katie and Bridget, I forgive the person, but I never forgive the deception. You stole my voice. You attempted to deceive me into believing anything false. That is the end of it. Bridget muttered, I'm very sorry. Katie wailed, I made a terrible mistake. Bill glanced at Luna, sorrowful and angry. This changes everything. I'm not sure whether I can ever trust again.